Hi everyone, so I'm on the PTR right now and you have seen some of my other videos already, I suppose. And I want to show you how the leaderboard filters work, because this is like one of the big amazing features of this patch, I believe. And even without any patch notes, this alone can already create so much new content and new builds to play, and just so much more excitement about actually playing off-meta stuff, which is, well, not really off-meta anymore at this point, at least most of them. So I want to show you how it works. And if you open the leaderboards now, you have this set selection here. So everything is as normal with the classes. You can select between your friends and stuff, the season. And then you have here the drop-down menu where you have every single class set of whatever you have selected and the no 6-piece set. So it's quite simple, but yeah, we had some fears that this would be simply a filter and not actually a set leaderboard. But well, it turns out there's actually a full 1,000 spots on each of those leaderboards. So this is amazing, and now you can actually play like a lot of these really old forgotten builds and compete with them and actually see how well you fare. So it's really amazing, because it's gonna create basically no downside to playing these fun off-meta builds that have not really seen much love recently or something. So that also reduces or almost removes the need to actually buff those builds to infinity to actually be competitive, and that is amazing. So now it mostly matters for farming, but there's also some of these off-meta builds that are actually very strong in farming. One of these examples is Unholy Essence, for example, with multi-shot. It's a very strong farming build, especially for the 16, especially for bounties. It's like the #1 build basically. And well, now you can also push a bit if you like. Aside from the fact that God DH has been nerfed heavily and you're actually going to play Unholy Essence, Hanging Arrow, but there's going to be multi-shot players for sure. So it's also cool to see like multiple different builds on the same leaderboard, because typically when one set is built behind, it also means that basically all of the builds for it are a little bit behind and maybe kind of like in a similar range. So for multi-shot, for example, yeah, multi-shot caps out somewhere at like 130, so not that easy. And then Hanging Arrow will probably go like another, I don't know, 8 to 10 tiers higher or so. But if you look at the range of leaderboards on the live servers, there's typically always a range of between like 5 to 10 tiers on the front page alone. So that means they can get quite close to the top if you try, even with an off-meta build. One thing I noticed is that Inner doesn't really have any pushing build whatsoever. And I thought about what it could be. And I did a clear here. This is with Paragon 1500, no augments, and the 100 gems, with just some gear I crafted in like 15 minutes or so. And well, turns out it's Inner's Tempest Rush. And this also brings us to the next point, and that is that there is a lot of overlap between builds on certain classes, especially these contenders that have very strong legendary support and rather weak set support. So this would include the Monk here with Tempest Rush, which has really strong items that go with Tempest Rush, the One Kim Lao, the Balance, the Caesar's Memento, and then you just have basically generic, your 10k or 15k% damage buff from your set, and it doesn't really matter which one you wear. So yeah, one is a bit better than the other. So obviously Inner is kind of the worst version because we have never seen it before, and if you compare this to POJ, it's like maybe 4 or 5 tiers behind or something. And then you have the Senvoku. So that is usually the best one on Monk, but it's also Tempest Rush. Overall, it's basically the same thing. And Demon Hunter has the same issue now because, well, it's Hanging Arrow everywhere. So you have God Hanging Arrow, even though it's nerfed, it's still going to be exactly that. Then there is Unholy Essence Hanging Arrow, there's a Marauder Hanging Arrow, and theoretically, even that higher Hanging Arrow might be better than N6 and 4. So that is kind of an issue here, and I think that each of those sets should also be at least buffed to the point where it's optimal or like the best use to actually use them with their like intended skill, and to kind of like create a wholly different play style instead of just like the same thing repackaged. So that's like some of my feedback here. I would really like to see like a pure Reign of Vengeance build or a Fan of Nice build again on Natalia's, for example. I would really like to play multi-shot with 100 Essence or even Chakram or Ball Lightning or something like that. I'd really like to play Cluster Bombs or Marauders, and right now this would not happen because those builds would be behind the best build for that set, which in this case, for example, would be Hanging Arrow. So this is a bit of like work to be done here for Blizzard, but otherwise I don't really care, you know, if it's going to be GR 120 or GR 140 or so. As long as it's its own separate leaderboard, it doesn't matter much. And in my opinion also, not every single build has to be the best at everything. It has to be super competitive in speed farming. You know, some builds work better for speed farming content, some builds work a bit worse for that, and it's totally fine to have, you know, some kind of like more meta builds than others. So the perfect balance is very hard to achieve with the variety of playstyles, and having the leaderboard is a good first step, but there is still, you know, balancing to be done. Last thing is also that on the PTR right now there's a little bug, so I don't know why, but maybe everyone can take a look for this. For example, here is a guy on a no 6-piece leaderboard on Demon Hunter that has full Marauders equipped. I don't really see a pattern why that happens. I have seen one other guy on the Wizard leaderboard with the same bug, I think, with no 6-piece. There's actually here with Tal Rasha and Firebird combo. So typically it works. So if you inspect these guys here, this is LOD, this is LOD, this is LOD. So it's very rare, but it does happen, and maybe we can try to find why that is and see it from there. And finally, for the UI and the interface, this is how it looks like when someone achieves a new rank. So they get like the overall leaderboard rank. For example, here Northfire just did a clear, and he did a solo necromancer rank 692, here 125, and then it also says here rank 25 on the Masquerade of the Burning Carnival leaderboard. So both these messages pop up at the same time, and this is really amazing. I think when you do the clear yourself, you just see like the overall rank, like there's a little pop-up when you kill the Rift Guardian. I'm not sure what happens when you don't reach the overall leaderboard, but you do reach one of the set leaderboards. I assume there might be some other pop-up. And also in the game, you can see that in the profile, there is actually an extra slot here for each individual class, for each set. So that is pretty amazing. So you can actually kind of like see everything in one go. Here's Ina's Mantra, no 6-piece, Firebird's Finery. So all of these have like their own name. I mean, here maybe it could say no 6-piece Demon Hunter, for example. I believe that would be amazing, but it doesn't have to be. So yeah, so that works pretty nicely. The problem is just that this message here with those sets doesn't show up for yourself. So I think you see it for other people, but you don't see it for yourself in chat. So you just see like, okay, you achieved a new personal best, but I think it doesn't give you the rank. So basically this message here is missing when you achieve your own rank. So it doesn't say the rank that you got on the overall or on the set leaderboard, and you kind of have to find it yourself after opening the leaderboard. So I think this should be fixed, because you see it for other people, you should also see it for yourself, in my opinion. Yeah, so that's about it. So I believe overall a very nice feature, especially for someone like me. I'm very excited about this to try out, you know, many more builds and many more pushes in the future. So this gives me, you know, so much more to do, and I hope you guys are also excited about it. So this is what I wanted to share here. Hope you liked this little video, and see you guys next time.